Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Stitch Method in the mind of Eric Clapton. Now, there's no song attached to this in the mind of, it's just what Eric Clapton does a lot of, and there's usually 3 or 4 things I want to get to. So before we begin, I want to address that everything that we're going to talk about in this, in the mind of with Eric Clapton is in my Blues Primer playlist. Every concept that guitar players do, pardon the mustache hair, great, is in that playlist. So if you haven't seen that playlist, go to my channel, go to the Blues Primer playlist, and watch everything, because all the concepts are in there. And if you feel like taking the Masterclass, go ahead. It's going to answer all the questions, but all the concepts are in that playlist. So let's talk about the basic concepts that makes Eric Clapton's soloing just a little bit more unique or identifiable. So first we're going to start with what I call the Clapton Pentatonic. Now, many of you might have already seen this, and that's fine, but I don't think you have named it the Clapton Pentatonic. Let's go over why. We're going to stick with an E blues, okay? And so if you listen to Pretendin' or Sweet Home Chicago, this is really apparent in Sweet Home Chicago, or any one of his E blues jams, you'll see these maneuvers. Plus, you'll see them in any other key he does it in, or just happen to be doing it in E. So let's get started. So secret weapon number 1 is his way of playing a pentatonic. Now, on the 7th fret of the A string with your ring finger is an E. Now, where we would start a normal position for pentatonic like this, okay, that would be 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9. The notes being E, G, A, B, D, and E. He doesn't play like that. He puts his ring finger on the E, and he will play the D on the 5th fret of the D string, and then he'll take his ring finger, come up, he'll play the G. If I can actually teach guitar, that'd be fantastic. So you have the E, then you have the G, and then you're going to take your ring finger, and you're going to put it on the A. And what he does here is he always, we'll say 8.9 times out of 10, will slide this A to the B, or the 4 to the 5. Let me talk about those intervals. In the minor pentatonic, you have a 1, a flat 3, or 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. Those are the only intervals in the minor pentatonic. So what he does first, instead of doing this, he plays the 1, the flat 3, he'll take the 4 and blend it into the 5. Very rarely do you see him playing these notes separately. He usually blends these guys, whether he's going this way or this way. And then so he'll play the 1, the flat 3, the 4 into the 5, the flat 7, and the 1. But here's the magic of it, and this is what's really cool. If you look at a pentatonic scale, 5 notes, it means that the 6th note you play, you go back to your number 1. Again, these are not intervals I'm going to talk about. These are just the notes in order. You'd have note 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that 6th note, you're back to your 1. But not with the Clapton Pentatonic. The Clapton Pentatonic is quite unique. You have note 1, note 2. Again, these are just the note numbers in order, not intervals. So 1, 2, but 3. That is considered one note to Clapton. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that puts the 5th note back on the root. So the 6th note, he goes here. And so this is the minor third again. So really it goes interval-wise now. It's 1, flat 3, 4 to the 5, flat 7, 1, and then to the 3. And this is where he stops a lot. I swear, again, I'm not giving you the finger. I should change my fingers. But so when you listen to him play, instead of him going, he'll go like that. And he ends, usually ends his phrasing, or not ends it, but he uses that minor third to like come to and come back to the 1. And the minor third is a very important note and tense note in the pentatonic. So where we would play a form 4 like this, he plays this Clapton type pentatonic. That's his signature move. And back home to 1. So here's what it sounds like. Now I have an E shuffle or an E blues I lay down, and I'm just going to play this randomly. I'm just going to play this scale. And you can hear how when you slide the 4 and the 5, and you come past that 1 to that minor third, that's pretty awesome. So here we go. Okay? So pretty much, he has this definite move. You can see him playing. Now, again, there are a lot of you who might know the shape of the pentatonic that he uses, but we really want to take a look at all the intervals that are being played, okay? That's important. So we have his little move here, but let's talk about weapon number 2. So weapon number 1 right now is that Clapton pentatonic. Volume always works. And weapon number 2 is, I have a video I always reference in my blues channels, which is called The Power of the Five. If you listen to a blues solo by Eric Clapton, he is like the #1 supporter of this method, not my method, but just the method of coming in strong on the 5. So where is the 5? Well, we have this 1, flat 3, 4 to 5 here. Now that's a 5, but we don't use that one. And then we have the flat 7, the 1, and then here's the flat 3. Now the next note up here is a 4. So what he does is he gets his first finger on that flat 3, puts his ring finger on the 4, and he bends the 4 up to a 5. Oh, there it is. And this is how he comes in. Lands on the root note there, and then he'll switch fingers to take that pentatonic they use. So listen to what it sounds like when I come in strong. On the 5, here we go. So now, that's his weapon number 2, coming in on the 5 right as his guitar solo starts. Just and watch a lot of his blues solos. You'll hear it, you'll see it. Again, if it's not in E, his scale will move somewhere, but you'll hear it. You'll be like, oh yeah, that's him using the 5, and then he'll go into that Clapton scale. The next thing that he does a lot of, and I referenced this in my chord tone soloing blues video, I believe, where he loves throwing in pieces of chords. Like, he really, really, really loves it. So with this Clapton pentatonic, you have this, and you have the 1, the flat 3, the 4, 5, the flat 7, the 1, and the flat 3. These guys right here, believe it or not, if you look closely, I'm going to switch some fingers here. This here is an A7 chord, okay? It would be frets, let's see, 9, 8, 9, okay? And in an E blues, the A7 is the 4 chord. So these little pieces here, that right there is his like go-to for when they go to the 4. So he'll come in strong on the 5. And he'll hit this guy, this little piece here, on the 4. Okay, that's the 4 chord, and he's got 2 out of 3, which ain't bad. And then he'll usually take, he always does this, he takes his 4 chord, and he always just slides up to the 5 chord. And so here's what it sounds like. I'm going to come in on the 5, I'm going to use my Clapton pentatonic, and when we go to the 4, I'm going to climb up with that Clapton pentatonic into this 4 chord right here, and I hope it all sounds good. Oh, if the looper doesn't die, you know, live on camera, it's great. Let's try one more time. Okay, so you can hear it all the time. This is like his favorite thing to do. So this little piece right here is in the 4 chord, and what's very important about that is you can do the chord tones, which you love, but you can also just play the notes. And so if you listen, here's a blues shuffle. I'm not going to play the backing track. You can hear it. I'll come on the 5, like. There it is. I'm breaking the chord up into its pieces, staying in the Clapton pentatonic. Now, when the band goes to the 5 chord, he'll hit the 5. And then when the band goes down to the 4, we're getting close to that turnaround, he'll go into the BB box. And we talked about this. He'll go into his E blues BB box, which is right here in the 5th fret. And that BB box. Watch my BB box video. It's on my channel somewhere. And he'll go into this BB box because the BB box fits so well on top of that 4 chord. That's something I do mention in that video. Here's an A chord, which is the 4, and this little That little nugget fits in the 4. So when you hear Eric Clapton playing, I can't even speak anymore, you'll notice that he'll stay in his Clapton Pentatonic. And the 4 chord here. The 5. The 4. He'll go right to that beatbox. Something to that extent, and then he'll hit a 5, whether he walks it here, to a B, or bends it here. He'll just simply go to the 5, or he'll do a turnaround. So I know this is going fast, but let's recap everything you need to know to kind of develop the mindset of how Clapton gets his signature sound, not through his strat, but through his note choice. So number 1, the Eric Clapton Pentatonic. Number 2, coming in the 5. Okay, right to the 5. There's the 4, bent to the 5. Number 3, the chord tones for the 4 and 5. He loves that stuff. And then back to the 1, sliding on that 4 and 5 always. And then they'll go to the 5, he'll hit some sort of 5, whether it's down here in the B. And then when it goes to the 4, after the 5 in the blues turnaround, right close to the end, he'll go right to that beatbox. And then come up to a 5. So here it is. Hopefully I don't suck too much, but here's a 12-bar blues Clapton style. Well, there it is. Yep, I'm going to stop there on the high note. Had a couple technical difficulties during this lesson with my pedal and my mouth. But that's pretty much it. Quick and succinct. So rewind this and just remember the talking points or the bullet points. I'll say it again. He has his own way of playing a pentatonic. He always comes in strong on the bent 5 and just rips it. Go listen, do your research. He puts his chord tones in on the 4 and the 5 all the time. And he plays the BB box on top of the 4 chord right before we get to the turnaround. Hope that all made sense. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's sweet. It's what he does. Go play a blues song with Clapton and have fun. See you next time on The Stitch Method. Bye.